Good morning, everyone. I'm Jenny. Thanks for tuning in as always. Make sure you hit the subscribe button at the corner to get videos and weekly content and so on and so on. Now, I'm going to be talking about what's coming up for this week's Cosmic Vibes. We are entering the Taurus Super New Moon. Like, oh my gosh, this is happening the 26th, 27th of April. Like we are moving into May here pretty quickly, but this is the week to confront these difficult situations that you've been ignoring, that you've been walking away from. Because if you don't, it's going to get really, really tense. Like this new moon, it's super new moon. So whenever there's like a super new moon, it's double the emotions, double the intensified, and so on and so on. Now, Taurus is all about the earth, Mother Nature, wanting to be grounded. So you might even find that during this new moon that you're going to be like, this is the time when I just got to get away. I got to go for a walk in nature. I got to go to the beach. I can't be around the ruckus. I can't be around the city because this day, even more specifically, there's going to be a lot of conflicts. It actually can turn out in a really kind of a violent way. There's so much going on in the world that a lot of things are going to start coming out. You have been seeing truth being exposed and so on and so on. And this more specific day, it could get really, really rocky. It could get really emotional. So you might be like, okay, you know what? We're just going to turn the world off. We're just going to turn the phones off, the news, like whatever it is, and we're just going to get away for the day or a couple of days. This is the time that you need to do that. If you can do that, right? Maybe some of you have like an outdoor forest, an outdoor area where there's some parks that you can't like go really away to get in touch with nature and so on and so on. Right. So it's really, really important. So this new moon is all about new beginnings in a really drastic way. So you might even find that this is the day I'm going to end my relationship. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't hold on to this anymore. Like I'm seeing so many roadblocks with this person or with a job. Like whatever situation it is that has been going on that you guys have been like ignoring and don't want to deal with and so on. Like I'm always stressing the importance of deal with what's important, deal with what your priorities are. Nobody likes to deal with uncomfortable situations. Who does, right? So this moon is going to really, really intensify things for you. So you could find that your sleep is going to be on and off. Actually, your sleep could be on and off throughout the week as well. We have a lot of solar flare energy too. So this is also a day to set some huge manifesting energies. Write down some intense intentions. Don't worry about how. Don't worry about when. Like I'm saying, this is the year for long-term planning. I've talked about that for quite some time. So this is a day where all of a sudden endings can happen. You could get let go of your job. You could end your relationship. Your partner might end the relationship with you. Like all of that kind of stuff. Like really, really pay attention. Like I work with these energies myself. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a day I shouldn't be doing that. New moons are not a time for surgeries, but of course, sometimes we have those surgeries that we have to do on the new moon. Really pay attention to your animals, like your pets, when they're acting a little bit differently. Even your loved ones and such. New moons is a really big time for people passing away and passing on and so on and so on. When you get that kind of a calling, you get that kind of I better check up on that person. Do that. Like, don't ignore it because you're going to be like, I've heard all of these things going on. More truth has been exposed. Secrets are coming out. I'm a really quiet, peaceful person. I've been a little bit more out there, let's put it that way, on social media about the politics here, especially in Canada. Like boof, boof, boof. Like I'm saying, the whole world is and has been in turmoil for quite some time. So if you want to know what year's events are going to happen, go back, watch my predictions video that I did for this year. A lot of things have already happened. You know, nobody can run from karma. Like you're going to be even seen even more and more and more. You know, like nobody can run from karma. Like let me just really highlight that again. People say, well, you know, they're like a high rank. Does it matter? No, no. Even politicians here in Canada and otherwise, you're going to be surprised because you know they're going to be in a lot of trouble with what they have done to humanity. They are. So we can all see a lot of stuff that's going on. You know, a lot more stuff's going to be coming out next year with politicians and so on and so on and so on. There's no real leadership, as I've always said. However, you know, you have to stand your ground, and there's no right or wrong and such like that. You know, it's like you put a post up, and all of a sudden you just get trashed. I don't care anymore. Right. I'm to the point of, you know what, I have to stand up for righteousness and humanity. This is just insanity. I mean, I speak my voice, believe me. So if you're on my social media platforms, you've seen it. So, anyways, this is the time you also have to speak your own truth. You have to be authentic, speak from your heart. The energy with this new moon will work with you. It really will. Really will. Listen to, where do you feel called to go? What do you feel that you need to really start? New beginnings, starting new projects, new beginnings, you know, starting a new plan, this, or that, you know, but I got to make these changes. We all do. However, start writing down, these are your intentions. Utilize this energy, put your crystals outside, you know, so the moon energy can come on it, put them by a window ledge even, and so on. But just watch your pets, like I'm saying, and the people around you that you're really worried about. You know, there's a lot of, you know, our animals are very sensitive to this energy of the new moon. Make sure they have plenty of water and such. And with solar flares, they might not be eating as much, or they might be drinking more water, or they could be acting a little off. You know, like you guys might have even noticed, you might have felt a little dizzy, exhausted, like tired, like, oh my gosh, all of those things, because these cosmic energies can make it happen. But if you're like, you know what, I don't know, I'm not sure, get yourself checked out. Like I have another ear infection, right? So, of course, I had to go get some drops and everything like that. So it's like, pay attention to, oh, I got to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this, but you have to deal with this. This is really important to take care of your health, of course. Yeah, but how do I know? I think everything's okay, but I don't know. If you're like, you know, I got to get this checked, get it checked. Isn't it better to get it checked than to be like, oh, wow, it's too late, right? I'm just saying. So you might even find like on the 28th and the 29th of April, you're going to understand why things happened, why things didn't happen. Reflect back, you guys, really reflect back onto the past few months, you know, especially as, you know, like November, December, what was going on back then, November and December 2024? Where are you today? Really look back on that. What did you change? What did you end? You very well could be today, this week, be like, wow, boy, did I ever make some changes. Congratulate yourself. Yeah, but Jenny, I wanted to run that 100-mile marathon and I only like ran a mile. Does that matter? Congratulate yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Show yourself some compassion and love and empathy, of course. You know, because what you do on a day-to-day basis will determine your future. One little step at a time, vision boards, writing intentions, setting goals, and all of that. And make sure you're looking at your goals every day, right? And whenever you're thinking, you know, I'd like to change that, or gosh, I need help with this, or whatever it is, write it down. Don't worry about how or when. Okay, spirit, this is what I want. I'm gonna write it down. I don't know realistically how I'm gonna make that happen, or don't worry about any of that. Start writing it down because you're setting your intentions right now under the super duper new moon. Spirit will work with you, energy will work with you. because this week there's going to be endings, as I mentioned. You might even be like, wow, I'm feeling even a little bit more tired. I'm healing. Why is all these memories from once upon a time ago coming up, resurfacing? Your soul wants you to heal. Your soul wants you to reflect back. Don't run from it. Don't brush things under the carpet. I've talked to a few people, and they're still having stuff that they're ignoring that they have to do. I never judge anybody. Of course not. We all have our own journey to go through. Don't judge anybody, right? Even that activism in me comes out and stuff like that. I don't judge anybody, right? I just say my say. We all have that freedom of speech. Lately, people will trash, especially politics, right? I'm not into that kind of stuff, but believe me, this year, because of the bullshit in Canada, I already know what's going to happen. If, let's say, this certain party gets voted, it's don't even get me going. I'm not even going to talk about this. We want to keep this positive. So you're going to see that even like some certain past ideas, you might have been like, I had all of these ideas I wanted to put together and create and all of these different things. You're going to find that, okay, I'm going to go, you know, dust off my folder or wherever you guys have your projects and going to be like, oh yeah, let's dust that off. I was looking at that or wanting to change that 2 years ago or last year or whenever it was. You're going to be like, I'm going to really start looking at this. We tweak it. You're going to be like, what? I'm getting more ready. But how do I do this? There's people out there that can help you do that. Search, go on Google. But I need to know how I can put this together and that together. You can ask other people, you can do search, finding people specialize in certain things, ask them. I've had to reach out to other people myself, and I'm doing research to find the right people that's going to help me with a certain project myself, and that takes time to find the right fit and to look at what you want and so on. But if you don't do anything about it, it's not going to happen, right? Take advantage of this energy right now. So you might feel a little uncertain as well. You could be like that project. Well, I don't know how I'm going to make that happen. So you might feel a little bit uncertain. You might be like, not sure about this. Don't worry about that. Don't set any negative traps. And for God's sakes, don't talk to other people about your creative ideas. Because if you said, you know what, I want to do this and I want to do that, all it takes is one person to say something negative. And you can be like, oh my God, I can't make that happen. That's their point of view, is it not? I stay quiet on what I'm working with and working on and stuff. Believe me, I learned my lesson the hard way. So what are you working on? Stuff, that's it, right? But anyways, the 30th of April, gosh, the end of the month here. Like, oh my goodness sakes. You could find that you're being more busy that day. You could be like, oh, I'm actually getting involved with my projects or whatever it is. So today I'm going to go out and get the supplies. Today, if I'm like, I got to do renovations on my home, or if I want to prepare for my class, or like whatever it is, you could find that could be a busy day for you. And you're also going to be reflecting back a lot on lessons learned. This energy, really look back to 2017, that year, what was going on? What was happening? Endings, new beginnings. It's very karmic. That new moon is very karmic, by the way, too. So if you were in like toxic relationships, negative environments, anything like that, and you're like, you know what, I got to end my relationship now, or this isn't going anywhere, or my job, I can't do this anymore. This is the time to make these changes. So for every endings, you might have been like, that's when, even myself, like when I had my television show, it ended in 2017. It shot TV, and I had a huge television network approach me not long ago. Hey, we want you to do this and all of these. I'm like, oh my God, wow, right? So it can be for every ending, there's a new beginning with your skills and your talents and your abilities and so on, where you could be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that, or I'm not interested, or I'm not ready, or like whatever it is, right? You have to go on what direction feels right for you, no matter what and why. Listen to your heart. Your heart Put your hand on your heart. What do you feel? That's your purpose. Follow your heart's desires, follow your passions. Believe me, I follow my passions and I work on my passions. It opens new doors for me. I don't go chasing opportunities. I get people sending me messages, phoning, all of these things. Hey, how would you like to do this? Or all of those kinds of things, right? When you're staying true to yourself, as long as you're staying true to yourself, you're being authentic. Because if you're not, new opportunities aren't really going to come. And if they do, it's not going to last because you have to hold that same vibrational frequency of who you are by being authentic. So very, very important. So you might find that you're going to be making some big changes that day. This is it. I'm ready to step it up. I'm ready to end this, or I'm ready to start that, like whatever. But don't run. Stop running, because this is the time to really confront those difficult situations that you've been ignoring or dusting under the rug or, you know, right? It's really important because when you resolve that, new doors open. New doors open. Not the same day, but sometimes it does. But really pay attention to what's not working. It doesn't matter what it is. What is not working? So on the 1st and 2nd of May, we're in May already. Springtime, it depends where you guys are, right? You can be like, oh my gosh, it's May. Like, where is the time gone? Exactly. A lot of stuff's going to happen at the end of this week. I can tell you that. Like I'm saying, conflict, tension with the political aspects, especially here, in Canada with all of this stuff. Oh, and everywhere else, of course, in the world and everything that people are dealing with. But it's getting tense. It's getting really tense, right? So you could find that the 1st of May, the 2nd of May, that's it. I'm trusting my plans. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to book that flight. I'm going to sign that lease. I'm going to buy that car. I'm like, it could be something more big, something more major and such like that. I'm trusting the flow of the universe where it's taking me to. I have some long-term plans, as I'm saying. So, do your research on it. Do your research on it. There's always pros and cons. And I always say, everybody, write down the pros and cons on paper, because if it's in your mind, it's like that hamster wheel. When you write it down on paper and you're being very honest, look at the pros of this, look at the cons of that. You're going to be like, oh my gosh. Oh, look at reality, right? So you're going to see that even more. So you might even find that even more memories from once upon a time ago are also going to come in flooding in. Your dreams, very well, really pay attention to that. Really pay attention to that. Write it down. Write it down. When you wake up, everything, no matter what you're seeing, everything, hearing, feeling, sensing, the colors, where were you? Who were you with? What was everything? Write it down. Write it down. You're also going to be really looking back, like I'm saying, look back on the past few months. You very well could be like, you know what, I got to forgive myself. What I didn't know then, I can clearly see now. Or why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I behave that way? Why did I make that decision? Why? Okay, so you're human, don't forget. We all make mistakes. And what's important of that? We learn from our mistakes if you're paying attention. Yeah, he keeps on calling me, Jenny, or she keeps on calling me. They're not giving up, or like whatever. Don't just brush it away. Do something about it. Block them if you have to, for goodness sakes. However, if you really truly feel that you have said everything and were honest with that person, this isn't working because of this, or I'm not interested, or like whatever, that's the only thing that matters. Speak your truth and such, and if they keep on, block them, right? As long as you've released, you really feel that you've said what you had to say, You know, there's certain people that they're not going to understand what you say anyways, because they only want to see things their way only. They don't, they, you know, that happens, right? It's important to really take a look at what feels right for you. So you can't argue with someone who always sees a problem. For every problem, there is a solution. So it's important to surround yourself with people who are positive and support you in a positive way. You know, I have to let people go from time to time, you know, unfriend people or, you know, end the connection or like whatever, for whatever reasons. That's part of your evolution. This is a huge transformational year. You know, there's so much changes going on, as I've always said. So it's really, really important to look at what do you truly want to do. But you should go in this direction. You should do that. You should. What do you want to do? What changes do you want to do? Are you happy with your relationship? Are you happy where you're living? Are you happy with your job? Are you happy with how certain things are going? You know, we have no control over anybody else, right? It's like these elections. They're all, you know, don't even get me going, but you have no control over that. All you can do is your part and vote, right? That's it. You know, and whenever there's different scams and all that kind of stuff, the karma will come out. The karma will come out. And believe me, the karma on Trudeau with the Liberals is going to be coming out more and more and more next year. That's all I'm going to say. Right. But so really just really confront situations this week, you guys. It's so really important. You know, I love hearing from you in the comments and what's going on, and like the video, it really helps. It like, do you guys like these videos at all? You know, let me know because I might end them. I might end it. So, you know, let me know if you do find value out of these, or if you like to see different changes or certain things like that. Like I'm making changes myself, right? So, you know, you have to take a look at, is this really working or not? Right? No matter what it is, no matter what it is. You know, and you got to be real. You got to look at the reality of it. Where's it getting me? Like, is it even going anywhere? Is this relationship, are they saying and promising me this and that they want to get married when it's been going on for a long time and they have no desire? Or if your boss is saying, you know what, we keep on promising you all these raises and promotions that never happens, like lots of things, right? Really confront difficult situations, write it on paper. What did I get from that? What did I gain from that? Like, is my investment, the money I'm paying every month, am I really seeing any money coming back? Am I seeing an investment coming back? Am I seeing anything from it? Am I seeing any love coming back from my person? Like all of those kinds of things, really review, because you have to balance the give and receive. If you're the one that's giving and giving and giving all the time, you know, and you're not seeing results or you're not seeing things, you know, like revamp things as well. You know, if your partner is promising you all of these things, you haven't seen anything, is it not time to confront that person? Yeah, but I feel something's really off with them. Then confront them, be blunt, be direct. Don't pussyfoot around it. Did you talk to that person? Well, you know, confront them. If you want to end the situation, end it. If you want to have that heart to heart conversation with your person, do that. But speak truth from your heart. Be very honest. Have that heart to heart talk. You know, maybe it's your boss you need to have that heart to heart talk with. Maybe it's like whatever, right? You know, there's so many different situations, of course. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards. I don't use cards when I do readings because I'm a clairvoyant psychic medium. I read into your level of consciousness, talk about your past life. I talk to your animals. I'm an animal communicator, your past, present, future, and all of that and all of that. However, we're here doing collective on YouTube. So I'm just going to pull a couple of cards. I'm going to pull this deck actually here. This one here is the Enchanted Map, Colette Baron Reed. So what is the message from the universe, the 26th of April to the 2nd of May? You know, we also have Pluto retrograde, you guys, like a lot's changing. Really pay attention, like you can't run from things, right? So interestingly enough here, We have the magic prayer. Magic prayer is intentions, setting intentions, make a wish. What do you truly, truly want? Are you working towards it? Have you created a vision board? You know, surprises. How many of you had certain incoming surprises happen unexpectedly last week and so on? That's still going on, by the way. There's still some unexpected, expect the unexpected with surprises as well. And that's going to continue on here for another couple of weeks. So make a wish, but be very, very, very specific with what you want. Very specific. Well, I don't know what, like they want or confront them, make the phone call, make that phone call. I had to confront somebody yesterday. Okay, so what's going on with this? When is this happening? I don't go by certain situations. Sometimes we have to be patient. Certain things take time. Things come together, all of those things. But if you're like, I don't know what's going on, confront it. Confront the difficulties. I'm just saying, talk to a lot of different people. I talk to a lot of different people every day, all walks of life. And believe me, I've heard a lot. Okay, let's talk to the animals. Animal Guides by Bradley Valentine. How many of you have animals? Pay attention. Animals are unconditional love. They show us so many different things, even when they passed on. It was my dog Bella who saved my life, who had passed on, by the way. That's another story. And for those of you who have talked to you already know what happened. So the 26th of April to the 2nd of May, what's the message from our animal kingdom? It's a message from our animal kingdom from the 26th of April, 2nd of May. I can't believe we're in May. I think. Four of water. Water's emotions. Maybe you need to go to the beach. Maybe you need to go if you guys go by the water, by the way, as I've been saying this for quite some time, there's so much going on with the waters. Make sure that you're with someone, especially if you're going swimming. If it's to a pool, if it's to a lake or an ocean or wherever, creek. Well, you're not going to swim in a creek, but okay. So the energy here that we have is the tortoise. Your responsibilities may distract you from noticing all the gifts that you have been blessed with. Be open to investigating opportunities that come your way. We all have our own talents, no matter what it is. Like here, look at the ocean, right? Like a marine biologist, right? I'm not a marine biologist. I don't specialize in that. But maybe that is something that you're doing. Maybe that's something that you're passionate about. So we all have our own gifts and passions as well, and it's all about following what you're passionate about. Like, as I've said for so long, when you follow what you're passionate about, new doors open for you. They really do. I could give you so many examples. A tortoise. It's all about slowing down. Take your time, right? If some of you have been, you know what, now's the time. Now I can really get things going and moving forward. Yes. But if you're like, oh my gosh, now I got to take a class or now I have to do this. Sometimes slow and steady does work out a lot better. If you push too things or force too many things, it's going to backfire or it's not the right path or so on and so on. Go with the rhythm and flow of the universe right now with you. Yeah, but Jenny, I have 100 things to do today. Prioritize what needs to get done. Prioritize that. The other little things we can work on, right? I wanted to clean out my junk drawer, but I have to do taxes. What's the priority? Get your taxes done out of the way, then clean out your junk drawer. I'm just saying that, whatever it is for you. But pay attention, you guys, really pay attention. So I'm just going to chop it up here with crystals. I love my crystals. I'm still trying to sell all my tarot cards, by the way. if anybody's interested here in Calgary. We're going to talk to the Crystal Spirits Oracle, Colette Baron Reed. Still trying to downsize. It's just too hard to sell the tarot cards on Marketplace, and nobody here takes them. There's only one place here in Calgary that does, but I probably will end up having to do that. Anyways, let's see what the message is of from the 26th of April to the 2nd of May. Ooh, turquoise. Turquoise is a really good crystal. It's all about health and well-being too, intuition and so on. Look at that beautiful card. I actually have a lot. Actually, I am wearing turquoise. Look at that. Actually, look at that. This ring here, that's lapis lazuli. This is turquoise right there. It's a pretty big ring. And that ring actually saved my finger. I almost lost my finger. And if it wasn't for that ring, my finger would have been gone. Long story, another story. But turquoise, yes, turquoise is a very good healing stone for you, health and wellness and so on. So, not all of you, of course, are going to be drawn to turquoise. Especially right now with this new moon, put your crystals outside, cleanse them, rejuvenate them, and so on and so on. Really pay attention to what messages are coming through as well for you. There's a lot of incoming messages coming through from the spirit world. So anyways, please like my channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really makes a difference. Let me know if you do appreciate these videos or not. Because as I said, I might make some changes. Okay, so happy new moon, everyone. Namaste.